Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for the Hutchinson School Time Capsule Ceremony. Please direct your attention to our flag for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We are thrilled that you were able to join us for such a momentous occasion. Merriam-Webster defines a time capsule as a container holding historical records or objects representative of current culture that is deposited, as in a cornerstone, for preservation until discovery by some future age. In honor of this tradition, today we will be placing our time capsule in the cornerstone of our new Hutchinson School. We would like to thank all of you who made our school possible and honor the memory of our current Hutchinson School, its students, staff, and families. To help kick off our ceremony, I would now like to introduce our Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Champ, to say a few words.
Thank you so much, Katie. Good afternoon. What a beautiful and perfect day we have to celebrate this important milestone in the history of Hutchinson School. It is a pleasure to welcome you all to this special event. I'd like to begin by first acknowledging the so many special guests that are with us here today, many of whom have contributed directly to the planning and construction of the new Hutchinson School where we stand today. Thank you first to our Board of Education, our President, Jessica DiDomenico, Vice President Sue Breton-Childs, and our trustees, John Bryce, Vinnie Mazzaro, Eileen Miller, Leah Tabaz, and Jess Young. There's going to be a lot of thanks, so your hands might get a little tired, but no, that's quite all right. I'd also like to thank a former board member who was with us today, a very key former board member who oversaw the planning and execution of the 2018 bond referendum, and that is our past president, Ms. Madeline Smith. Thank you to Russell Davidson, Sarah Dursa, Sue Davidson, and the entire team from KG&D Architects who patiently walked us through so many versions of how to remedy the issues of the current Hutchinson School, and then design this amazing facility, which will be the fourth school facility erected on this same property in North Pelham in the past 150 years. Thank you to Kevin Sawyer, Frank Arturi, and Mike Festo from Triton Construction. You've overseen the construction of the school from the first blasts of Manhattan schist to the cornerstone that will hold today's time capsule that we fill. We thank you for your work. Thank you to our town supervisor, Dan McLaughlin, and to Trustee Maura Curtin for your presence here today and for your faithful support of this project, of the district and this project from the time of its inception. We would not be here without your continued partnership. Thank you to the Village of Pelham mayor and neighbor of the new Hutchinson School, Chance Mullen, and village trustees, Mike Carpenter, Ariel Spirakonin, Lisa Hill-Reese, Kim McGreal, Hannon Eldari, Russell Solomon. And also want to spend special thanks to the team of the village, the building inspector, Joe Sinercha, Chief of Police, Jason Pallett, and Fire Chief James DiNapoli. Their partnership and coordination on everything from utilities, safety, traffic, parking, permitting, and even our new address, 48 5th Street. We are truly appreciative for your partnership. Thank you to our district administrators, many of whom have had a direct hand in planning, construction, and coordination of the school, especially Jim Rickey, Assistant Superintendent for Business, John Condon, Director of Facilities, John Sabalos, Director of Technology, and of course, with a million decisions that none of us will ever even realize, Dr. Fitzgerald, the 8th principal of Hutchinson School. Thank you to Juan Valencia and the outstanding Hutchinson custodial staff who have managed the challenges of maintaining an existing school while a new school is being constructed on the same site. And thank you to our alumni, represented by Kim today, our faculty who are here in great numbers to celebrate this momentous day, our parents and PTA, who are represented by a number of parents who are with us today as well, and our students who are here on behalf of our 5th grade, who all of us together have shared the hopes and dreams for a new school, and who have put up with the many inconveniences and taken that all in stride, knowing that it will be worth it once this new school is open and ready to serve the next generation of Pelham students. Thank you all for being here today as we pause to mark this moment in time and assemble tokens of memories to share with future generations that tell just one part of the story of Hutchinson School and what it has meant to our district and our community, both in the past and what it means to us today in the present, during what has been this most unique and challenging year in our collective experience. The first educational facility on this site was a 2-room clapboard schoolhouse constructed in the mid-1800s and was known as the Pelhamville School. In 1888, a newer building was erected on the same site, which became known as the North Pelham School. Both schools had been grammar schools that educated students through 8th grade. Those students wanting to go on to high school had to actually apply to either New Rochelle or Mount Vernon to continue their education. That building was then expanded in the 1890s and then devastatingly was destroyed by a fire in 1912. In 1913, Siwanoy School opened, as well as the new grammar school built on this site, both of which would provide students educational experiences. Siwanoy was grammar school as well as high school, and the replacement building here providing students of North Pelham with a new neighborhood school and the opportunity for all students now to remain in the district if they went on to high school. It was at that time, in 1913 construction, that the new school was named in honor of Anne Hutchinson, who had fled the Massachusetts Bay Colony and founded a new colony for her religious followers in what is now Co-op City. In 1928, the final expansion was added onto that building, the current Hutchinson School, to create more space for students as the community grew. And now, as our community continues to grow, and as the existing school has served 108 years of the children from North Pelham, we are on the verge of bringing a new facility into service for our community. At the centennial of the existing school in 1988, these words were written. Although the school, has grown in the past 100 years, both in size and in population, Hutchinson School remains a neighborhood school with a home away from home feeling. There is great camaraderie amongst the students, parents, and the teachers, and a relaxed, friendly atmosphere is ever present. While this building is new, the history and the heart of Hutchinson School will remain the same. When the contents of this time capsule are next viewed, perhaps at the centennial of the new Hutchinson School, I hope the same camaraderie and sense of home away from home are the descriptors that generations of alumni point back to with pride and fondness. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here, and I'll turn it back over to our student MCs for the remainder of the program. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Champ. We will now like to welcome board member Miss Jess Young, my mom, to say a few words on behalf of the Pelham Board of Education.
All right, thanks. I'm pleased to be here for the Hutchinson Time Capsule ceremony and to speak on behalf of the Board of Education. As the chair of the Bond Steering Committee for the last 3 years, I have had the wonderful opportunity and responsibility of overseeing the implementation of the 2018 bond projects, including the construction of our new Hutchinson Elementary School. My daughter Riley attends Hutchinson. She will graduate this year, the last class to attend K through 5 in the original Hutchinson School building. I believe this is something she is proud of, but I know it has not been without challenges. I would argue she and her fellow students, the teachers and administrators, have experienced the construction and this change in a way we as parents and community members can't quite imagine. They have taken changes to arrival, dismissal, lunch, and recess in stride. These changes were a lot before March 2020, when COVID further upended what a school day looks like. Yet, I never hear the students complaining. They want to be at Hutchinson and will cherish everything the school gives them: friendships, knowledge, experience, a space and environment that is as unique as the students themselves. I asked Riley what Hutchinson means to her as I was preparing for this talk. She said, to her, Hutchinson is a second home, a place where she feels welcome and safe. She admitted to being sad that she was not able to be within the walls of the school building every day during COVID. However, she is thrilled to be back to close out the school year, surrounded by her friends and teachers, her second family. I realize Riley's Hutchinson, contained within the walls of the school building, is a scaled version of my Hutchinson. To me, Hutchinson is about community. Hutchinson is where I met other nervous but excited parents dropping off their kindergartners for the first day of school. Hutchinson is where I turned to learn about district and community programs. Through Hutchinson, I became involved in the Board of Education and the efforts to determine how to address the failing facade of our 100-year-old school building. Hutchinson also connects me to my neighbors. New neighbors with young kids, excited to attend the new Hutchinson School, and neighbors that had lived here for decades, who have shared with me stories of their own children, or themselves, attending Hutchinson. Old or new, inside or outside of the constructed walls, Hutchinson is a reflection of our community. A time capsule signifies a new beginning. However, it also represents a reflection of where we are and inspires the continuation of a legacy. The new walls we have constructed cannot contain the character of Hutchinson, but they can nurture it and help it grow. The new building will shelter our students and protect them, but it is the students and the teachers who will inspire the growth of community, inside and outside the walls of our school, that will lead to the success of New Hutchinson for many years to come. Today we celebrate a creation of a time capsule to record this moment of change in the Hutchinson School history. It is a complex moment to record, and it is hard to imagine how much our world may change in another 100 years from now. What we put in this capsule may give future generations an understanding of our physical world, but I believe the spirit and character of Hutchinson, the community, and what Hutchinson means to each of us will transfer to our new school through our students and live on for generations to come. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Young. Mom, we would now like to welcome Dr. Fitzgerald to discuss the contents of the time capsule.
Whew. It's nice to have that off. So the United States' oldest time capsule was the work of none other than Samuel Adams and Paul Revere. In late 2014, repairmen fixing a water leak at the Massachusetts State House uncovered a brass box that the two former Sons of Liberty had placed in a cornerstone to mark the building's construction back in 1795. When it was finally unsealed in 2015, it was found to contain a trove of preserved artifacts, including newspapers, coins dating back to the 1600s, a page from the Massachusetts colony records, and a copper medal with an image of General of the American Army George Washington. Most exciting of all was a silver plaque, most likely the work of Revere, that read, "This cornerstone of a building intended for the use of the legislative and executive branches of the government of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts was laid by His Excellency Samuel Adams, Esquire, Governor of the said Commonwealth." As Katie articulated earlier, the purpose of a time capsule is to represent the current culture that created it. In the example from Boston, the artifacts help to recreate what was happening in history through the news events of the day, the importance of the coins and medals, and the inscription on the plaque. The objects were intentional, and therefore creating a time capsule to represent the current culture of the Hutchinson School must be intentional as well. The Hutchinson School has educated children for over 100 years, and generations of families called Hutchinson School home. So as we began to think of ways to honor our current culture, we needed to be mindful of the past history that made us who we are today. This undertaking would not be possible without the help of Mrs. Del Mastro, Mrs. Rubrick, and Dr. Thompson for their input and help in creating a time capsule project that we hope illustrates what the current Hutchinson School means to our students while giving voice to the alumni, district, and town of Pelham. Therefore, the contents of the time capsule currently include a Chromebook and charger that holds a kindergarten and 5th grade flip grid project to symbolize the quick educational transition to technology during the COVID-19 pandemic, while capturing our kindergarten students' wishes for their graduating 5th graders and our 5th graders' favorite memory of Hutchinson School through the flip grid technology. A memory book created by our 1st through 4th grade students, highlighting their favorite memories of the Hutchinson School and what it means to them. An alumni memory book containing photos and quotes of their time at the Hutchinson School. A rock blasted from the site to commemorate the original topography of the land. And of course, we need some masks and gloves in there because we're still coming out of the COVID-19 pandemic. There's also a presentation that was given by our architects from KG&D that took place on February 12, 2018. And it summarized the different design options for the new school, including the current design. There are flyers and literature from the bond referendum. There's scanned blueprints from what was the new addition to the original Hutchinson School in 1926 that contained an addition of a space on the lowest level near Lincoln Avenue that was used as a public library in Pelham. This year, our International Day was virtual, but what came out of it was a beautiful cookbook that represented the many different cultures that are represented in the Hutchinson School. That cookbook will also be placed in our time capsule. And lastly, the Pelham Board update from May 2021, which gives an overview of the state of the town. So these are some of the artifacts that we hope when the time capsule is open, people can think about what it might have been like to live in the Hutchinson School in 2021 and earlier. We thank you all for coming. We're really proud of our brand new school, and we can't wait to give you all tours once it's all complete. Thank you for coming. We appreciate you being here.
Let's go, baby.
You're gonna do it?
No, this year was the time. They did the time.
Attaboy.
Does it fit? Perfect. Put
I
that
got the
stone.
stone. Yeah,
You
I
got
got
it?
the stone.
You got it?
Hold on, wait. It's perfect.
There you go. Want to grab either side?
I'm good.
I think one.
I think I can get it.
Go for it, baby.
Just, John, take those shims just to shove on top in case. On top, so it doesn't fall.
I vote yeah.
Just. Okay, I only have one skinny one. Perfect. Okay. Do this. Yep, good.